Just looking at the Glacier Skywalk tells you what an achievement it is. The original concept called for overhead cables and supporting pylons. This was changed to a cantilevered design with a cable suspension system underneath the structure. It not only impressed the client, but also made for a more dramatic appearance, and ultimately a more thrilling visitor experience. For these reasons and more, the Glacier Skywalk is a worthy finalist for a CISC Alberta Steel Edge Award. Imagine trying to install a ride in an existing amusement park without shutting down the park. The Linetec Zipline project faced that challenge and many others in order to fit it into West Edmonton Mall's World Water Park.
So there's two structural steel structures. So the ride is 450 feet from one end to the other. The launch structure is a tension structure where it utilizes a cable stay and it ties itself back to the structure, and that's how it supports the force that is exerted on it from the zip line. And then the landing structure is more of a moment structure where it takes all of the load under compression.
The mall was operational while we were here fully. The water park kept on running. That made it very challenging to handle the larger pieces and the heavier pieces with small equipment. You can't erect off of the structure. You can only use outside equipment. There's walkways underneath you have to shore up underneath to get a crane, and you can't just drive something across the surface. You have to make sure that all the surfaces are checked out and understood before we start.
If you look around and you see the structure, you'll notice that it's really tightly knit, and they surveyed every inch of it. You can see that there's spots here where it comes within inches of the other structure. Nothing was typical. You know, everything was really unique and everything was custom designed.
I'm thrilled to be part of something like this. This is a really cool, unique project. The greatest indoor show on earth.
So many unique challenges. Designing for a tight existing space, taking the water park environment into account, and more. It's little wonder that the Linetec Zipline is a worthy finalist for a CISC Alberta Steel Edge Award. The Physical Activity and Wellness Centre faced a number of challenges connecting existing structures that only structural steel could address. For example, the concourse had to allow for movement of the individual buildings, yet still provide lateral stability. This was achieved by reinforcing the existing steel structure and using a vertical truss and slotted bracing. The Physical Activity and Wellness Centre, a worthy finalist for a CISC Alberta Steel Edge Award. A new transmission line needed to be installed between Chetwynd and Dawson Creek. Round steel monopoles were to be used for part of the route instead of the usual lattice towers. This presented some design and fabrication challenges.
Given the remoteness of the area, what they were looking for was an all-steel design with screw piles and then steel grillage on top.
In a nutshell, the design challenge was the classic fitting a round peg in a square hole, steel framing a foundation for something that lends itself more easily to a concrete system. So challenges were there in the design as well as in the fit-up. To achieve the tight schedule of turning over raw material into a fabricated grillage assembly to be shipped to site and erected meant being a little innovative in how the fabrication process had to happen. And one of those innovations was the use of a plasma cutting technology called a Python.
To the naked eye, you'd look at it and you'd say, okay, there's a monopole, but underneath it, the foundations may be very, very different from location to location, just for the soil conditions and for the loading on those particular poles.
Through the collaboration process, it was decided to keep the screw pile shaft size a constant and vary only the number of helixes that we would need to carry the load down to the soil.
These solutions, only feasible with steel, allowed the project to meet a tight timeline. For its design and fabrication ingenuity, the PowerPole Grillage Bases project is a worthy finalist for a CISC Alberta Steel Edge Award.